This is Sophie.
Okay.
Hello, Sophie.
I'll do a round of introduction until Alberto is here.
Please.
So I've introduced myself, or Madeline has, and that's very kind. Sophie is the communications manager and right and left hand, I believe, of Alberto. I have not only a great love for the wines of Alberto, but the fact that he has hired a person as talented and great as Sophie is an absolute blessing. She does all the writing, she does all the communication with the rating agencies, if it may be James Suckling, Wine Spectator, Wine Enthusiast, Decanter, etc. She's an absolutely fantastic communications person, and we always love having her on board on these calls. And yeah, a little compliment from my side. It's been and it will be fantastic working with you, Sophie. So thanks for joining.
No. Thank you.
By the way, it's really late in
too
Italy.
much, you know. I give an help, that's all. So I'm sorry, Alberto is in late, but in 5 minutes I think he opened his his speech.
It doesn't matter. We're very happy to have you and Max and Michelle with us. And
I would take the start of the presentation and start with a little bit of the introduction of the property, of some of the wines, and then Alberto, when he joins, is going to talk a little bit more about the philosophy, because that
sounds just great. And before we do that, though, I'll put this up because it's such a spectacular slide. I just want to set the stage a little bit. I'm an old enough sommelier and very happy and comfortable and cheerful about that, to tell you that when I started out, and I won't even tell you what decade that was, Lambrusco telegraphed a lightly sparkling, always red wine that always had some sweetness to it, and for whom we kept the expectations pretty modest. We have some serious Italian communication going. I won't interrupt.
Sì, esatto. Vai lì.
You can.
Yes.
Keep on going.
Okay. So, the wines we're going to taste today are truly exciting because they represent an incarnation of the word Lambrusco that is sophisticated,
Solco, Piria,
exciting, new, and is undergoing a renaissance of appreciation. The growers that have been producing wines like this, notably Alberto Paltrinieri, have been around for a while. He's the third generation of his family producing wine in Piria, in the heart of Italy, Emilia Romagna. But the style of wine is something that I think more Americans would be well served to acquaint themselves with. And I don't know if I want to go any deeper than that, other than to say that we're going to taste three that are wildly different, ranging from bottle fermented bone dry white, red, and it gives us a little the experience potential of the word. Hopefully you've got a little to accompany these wines. And I think that said, Max, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about Paltrinieri, the family, and the producer, and where we are in Italy. And yes, I did make you the co-host, so you can control this if you like.
Perfect. One thing I would you quick mute Sophie, because she's talking on the phone and that is interrupting.
Let me see if I can do this.
Vai,
for a moment. Hold on a sec. Oh, that's okay.
Mute. I got her.
Okay.
I got her muted.
Okay.
Sorry about that. It is.
I think now.
There he is.
Alberto and Barbara arrive. Yeah, I think so.
Let's welcome him properly. Did he appear? Can we see him?
When we do, let me see.
You can see Barbara. Hi, Barbara. Barbara Paltrinieri.
Hello. They might be muted.
Yeah.
Ciao Barbara.
Ciao Max. Ciao, arriva subito anche Alberto.
It's
I'm writing
Barbara.
Alberto.
Welcome, Barbara. It's so nice to meet you. I recognize your beautiful face, and forgive me for not speaking Italian.
Grazie, piacere di conoscerla, piacere.
Very
Dice
nice
che gli
to know you as
dice che
well.
gli dispiace di non parlare italiano.
Ecco.
Both of them, yay!
Oh,
And
Alberto.
now Alberto.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
I told him that you are a smoker and it always takes a little while for you to appear on time.
Exactly. Max knows me very well.
We're very happy to have you, and this is not late at all. We're thrilled to have you here. The people that you have with you right now are from Michigan, and they represent faithful guests and customers of our stores, Plum Market, 4 in Michigan, and we have a store in Chicago as well. And you also have Michelle, want to wave Michelle, who has visited you at the winery and is a big fan, and she's the reason I know about these wines. And so that said, thank you for joining us at 10 o'clock at night in Italy. Welcome.
Thank you to all. Excuse me for the delay, obviously, but no excuses.
You're here. This is great. And we're just going to show some pictures. Everyone put yourselves on, in terms of the view, on speaker view, so you can see Alberto, Barbara, and Max. And Max, do you have control of the slides?
I believe I do. Let me check.
And if not,
No, for the time being, I think you have to conduct.
that's okay. It doesn't matter. We're going to have fun. I'm going to show everyone where we are in the world. Is that good?
That's perfect.
Just because this is my toy, I like to watch it. Here we are in north central Italy, where Barbara and Alberto are sitting right now, and in Emilia Romagna.
Perfect.
Right? Let's hear it for technology. And I think we're going to go right to your winery.
Exactly.
Oh, nice.
No.
Incredible.
Nice.
Isn't that fun? I
It's
know.
wonderful.
That's as technical as I get.
It's incredible.
Yeah, really.
So here we are, right? Emilia Romagna, so north central Italy. And this is Modena, right? So we're located near Modena.
Exactly. More or less 15 kilometers in the north of Modena.
So a little bit further north of Modena. And it's Modena, right? Not Modena, the way I'm sure you hear American.
Modena, correct.
Modena.
Correct.
And there you are, both in the flesh, and a great picture of you. But from what I understand, you're truly partners in this. Two spirits doing this together. So tell us a little bit about your family, Alberto and Barbara, and how long you've been involved with making wine in this area.
Okay. Well, I try to speak in English because my English is not so good, but in any case, I try. Well, the winery started more or less in the 20th of the last century with my grandfather. And well, actually, my grandfather was not was a chemistry, no, was involved in the chemistry, but he loved his territory and his family, so he built and started the winery. Then my father and my mother, more or less starting from the 60s till 25 years ago, when I finished to study, finally. and I started to help my father and my mother. Then after 2 years, my Barbara, my wife, came to work with us. And well, about the territory where we are settled, we are, as you said, as you showed to us in Emilia Romagna. But you know that Emilia Romagna is one region in two regions. No, we have Emilia and Romagna. We are together. No, we stay together. For example, I come from Emilia and Barbara from Romagna, so it's possible to stay together, but actually we are two different territories. For example, in Emilia we have sparkling wine. In Romagna, still wine. No, so it's very different story, different dishes, different food. But in any case, the region is correct to say Emilia Romagna. We live in Modena. Modena is near the capital of the region. The capital is Bologna. So the big city is Bologna. And the province is Modena. We produce, as you know, this photo, I with my son, Giovanni.
His name is Giovanni?
Exactly.
But he looks pretty young. How old is he now?
Well, I don't remember exactly when the photo was taken, but now he's 21 years old. He studied in Milan, and we hope he will continue our mission.
Oh, so are you hoping he's going to work with you? Is he studying?
Well, now he's studying enologist, no, Milan, and well, I don't know exactly if he will come, but in any case, we hope so. We have here also our daughter Cecilia, that is our.
Hi. Oh, hello. What's your name?
I'm Cecilia.
Hello, Cecilia. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
So are you going to school now also?
Yeah, I studied at university in Bologna. I study economics and I'm 23 years old.
Well, it's wonderful to have you join us. You're an unexpected guest and a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you.
Well, we produce Lambrusco. You know that Lambrusco is a family of different type of territory. Well, different type of grape, different type of wine, so, and a wide area where Lambrusco is produced, because we have Lambrusco here in our province, in Modena, but also in the province beside Modena, that is Reggio Emilia. We have Lambrusco also in Parma and also in a part of Lombardy, that is in the province of Mantua. So it's a wide area with different territory and a lot of different type of grape, no? So very often when I talk about Lambrusco, I say that if you only say Lambrusco, you say quite nothing, no? Except sparkling wine, more or less red, very often sweet or semi-sweet or dry. But in any case, just to tell you that Lambrusco is a big family of different type of wine.
Well, I mean, looking at all the bottles here, you make how many cuvées every year? How many different Lambruscos do you make every year?
Well, we have 8 different type of 8 different labels. Actually, one is a Bianco, white sparkling wine that comes from a blend of 2 grapes, Trebbiano and Lambrusco vinified in white. And all the other 7 labels are Lambrusco. In particular, we produce Lambrusco di Sorbara. Sorbara is the name of the grape, is also the name of, obviously, the wine, because Sorbara's grape is the principal grape that we use. And we live in the Sorbara, this is a little village, no, where we live. So Sorbara is the name of the place where we are, the name of the grape, and also the name of the wine.
So that takes care of everything. There we go. Are you...
In one word, we know where we are, what we do. It's very simple for everyone. Well, here you can see in this image, you can see our vineyard. No? We have more or less 17 hectares just around the house, so very, very close to the winery. And this is important for a lot of reasons, first of all, for the quality, and also for the special place where we are.
So everyone, that's about 40 acres, give or take. And Alberto, are you using only your own vineyards, or do you buy from other farmers too?
No. We produce starting only from our vineyards, except if something very strong, for example, for climate reason, for example, from sky or other problem. But in any case, we use only our production.
Everyone, by the way, regardless of whether you have all 3 bottles or just one, they have wonderful back labels that give you a lot of information. Bravo for doing that, Alberto. It's terrific. So they will tell you, you know, the region, the grape variety, the style, and it's very helpful. More Italian producers should do this, because it can be very confusing to Americans. So are we looking at Lambrusco di Sorbara vines right now?
Okay. I don't know if I understand.
Quale vino iniziamo a assaggiare?
Okay, well, we can from Piria.
Scusate, questo è un vigneto di Sorbara o un vigneto di Sorbara assieme con Salamino? Questo era la domanda.
Correct. You can see our vineyard, no, example, the vineyard around just around the house, and normally in a vineyard of Lambrusco di Sorbara, we have the presence of 2 grapes. One is the Lambrusco di Sorbara, and the second one, for an agronomic reason, is another type of Lambrusco. It's called Lambrusco Salamino. It's not a choice to have Salamino beside Sorbara. It's a duty, no? Because Salamino help in the pollination, the pollination, the Sorbara flower. So if you want to have the domination, you have to plant 2 plants of Sorbara and 1 of Salamino.
Oh, so Salamino helps the pollination of the other one. And I have to tell you, this is just, I know it's a funny interruption, but Salamino, does that come, the name come from salame?
Exactly. Because, yes, well, you know that here in Emilia Romagna, everything reminds to salami, no? We are the land of salami. But actually the shape of this grape is like a salami.
It looks like a salami, the cluster, yeah.
The compact grape, no space, berry, and the shape reminds you the idea of salami, no? So for this reason, it's called Salamino. Salamino is very awful, very important for the pollination for Lambrusco di Sorbara. So normally, the Sorbara wine is a blend. No? In the past, was all the Sorbara were blended, because the vineyards were built in a not so rational way. So in the same row, there were plants of Sorbara and plants of Salamino. So in the harvest time, you collected all together. So the blend was done directly in the vineyard. No? Now you have a vineyard built in a more rational way. So you have rows of Sorbara distinguished by rows of Salamino. So you can collect the two grapes in a separated way, and then you can do a blend as you want in the winery.
In an organized fashion. So before
Exactly.
it was like more of a, I loved how you said irrational. It's like a field blend is irrational, you know?
Okay. No, of course. And well, maybe we can taste the first one.
Yes, absolutely. And please, what are we looking at now? Are we looking at Sorbara or are we looking at Salamino? This, do we know?
This
Don't
one,
give it away. Don't give it away.
give it away.
I just made it a quiz on the chat. First one to answer this one is gonna get a bottle of no, sorry. Yeah, so Alberto, you're right. Alberto is gonna get a bottle of Piria. No. Salamino is wrong because the grape would look more like a salame, and this one is actually a Sorbara. So Alberto Elli, you just won a bottle of Piria.
Fantastic. We have to get it to you. So you have to email us so we can get it to you.
Okay.
And we're going to taste the Piria. Thank you, Max, for making this beautifully interactive and competitive. Yes.
I'm a competitive guy, sorry.
So we're tasting the Piria. And I don't know who's got what, but this is the label. Can you see it? And why don't you tell us about this, Alberto, a little bit about how you make it and how it tastes to you.
Well, I was telling you before that normally the Sorbara, the Lambrusco di Sorbara is a blend of these two grapes, no? For the rules of the production, the minimum part of Sorbara is 60% and maximum part of Salamino is 40%. Actually, our Piria is a blend more or less 70 and 30%. And is our classic Lambrusco di Sorbara, no? Piria is a word used in our slang. No, it means a sort of funnel used in ancient time to move wine from a barrel to another. In Modena, we have an important cathedral, no, and in the door of this cathedral is represented the different months of the year, no. For each month. Is sculptured is the medieval age, no? Sculptured the job, no, of that month. So for October, in October you move the wine to clean the wine, no? So this image represents a man with the Piria and he is moving from a barrel to another the wine.
Oh, that's the picture on the label. I just realized that. I'm a little slow. Sorry about that.
The image is more or less represented in the label. No?
It's a racking funnel.
It's a racking funnel. It's, you know, I didn't realize that, and the artwork on your labels is spectacular. Do you use the same artist?
Yes, he's a very big, well, he's an artist. And it's called the name of this artist, Fabrizio Loschi, became a very friend for our family in this year. We knew each other for a very strange reason, but in any case, in this time is very important for us.
Oh, you're not going to tell us the strange reason? Oh no.
It could be long, but 2 minutes. Well, I have a daughter, a sister that lived in South America, in Colombia, for a lot of time, more or less 20 years. And one day he called me by phone, and she called me and saying that there were Italian people that were making a sort of film, no? And together there was also an artist that came from place near Modena, no? So I tell her, well, say to him, to Fabrizio, the artist, that when he will return, no? I was very happy to meet him, and so he came to visit me to say what he see, you know, in Colombia with my sister and so on. And probably I gave him some bottles, no, to thank for the visit. And after 1 week or two, I don't remember exactly, he returned to the winery and saying, well, your wine is very, very beautiful, but the label are very horrible. No. And so, but I said it to him, well, I was expecting you. I was waiting for you. So he started to help us label by label, and he do all our label for us.
Had you seen his artwork before this? Had you seen any of his pictures or his paintings?
No. Don't know each other, but it was really crazy
connection meeting. Yes, it was but here you are. You have great labels, and they're all made by Fabrizio.
Exactly.
Wonderful. I have to tell you, I'm sitting here drinking the Piria, and I love the fact that it has all this red fruit, but a little bit of bitterness at the end is wonderful. And Max and I were talking before you got on about how wonderful it is with so many different foods, because that little bit of bitterness.
Yes.
Max, do you want to talk about any specific foods that you adore to eat when you're drinking Piria?
Well, I must admit that you know, I'm kind of biased because I work for Alberto, and so I obviously have to love his wine for a commercial reason. But I really also love his wines for a personal reason. And so when guests come over to my place, I love to open up with Piria, because Piria is such a versatile wine. It's something that everybody is pleased with. You can do it with canapes, you can do it with cold cuts, with cured meats, with little slices of pizza. It's a wine that is, yes, Sorbara. It represents the region, it represents the territory of Alberto, but it's very approachable. And that's what I love about it. And you're right, it has that little bit of bitterness towards the end. I would describe it personally as a bit of almost like a pomegranate, cranberry kind of bitterness, which is fantastic to get the juices on your palate going and everything. And so it really works well with fatty meats, with a bit of cheese on a pizza slice, with focaccia and these kind of things.
You're making us hungry for sure. I made the comment, you didn't seem to mind, hopefully Alberto doesn't mind, that it tasted that little pleasant bitterness that Campari has. You
Totally.
know, that I find it makes it a great aperitivo also, you know.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right.
So this is the winery, yes?
Yes, it's the oldest part of the winery built by my grandfather. We are now inside this old part.
You're sitting in it, yes.
Exactly.
And I love this picture. Please tell us about these containers. They're made, what are they made out of?
They are made by concrete. Like you can see also online now, no? They were renewed, but they are the same. Concrete is a very useful material. No? We have other tank made by stainless, yes, stainless, acciaio. But this one are made by concrete. They are very useful, for example, for the temperature. No?
For temperature control, or yes.
Well, they are not so. It's not so easy to clean this type of tank. No, they need more work, but for temperature very useful.
And these are barrels, correct, down here?
Yes, they are tank of more or less 5,000 liters.
Mm-hmm.
The first one 80, the second step more or less 5,000 liters.
But they're also made out of concrete.
These are made from concrete also?
Yes.
Even though they have the shape of a traditional barrel, these are made from concrete also.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. And I'm gonna, if you don't mind describing to us what a little bit, since we're staring at these containers, about how you make your wine, but especially before we get to the Radice that is, you know, unusual in its production. But you refer to on the website, Sophie, I've seen Martinoti Method on there. What does that mean?
Well, our wines are all sparkling, no?
Mm-hmm.
You know that to have a sparkling wine, you need to have a second fermentation, no? Because the first fermentation happens in harvest time when the juice is transformed by the yeast in wine, no? The second fermentation happens in and involves a little quantity of sugar, no? Sugar that comes from grape, obviously, and happen in a closed space. It could be a particular tank, or it could be a bottle. In any case, the process is the same. You have a still wine, and the yeast transforms this residual sugar in alcohol and CO2. The CO2 in this closed space cannot go outside, so that the wine is transformed in a sparkling wine. No, here in Italy, but also in the rest.
Everywhere, yes.
Everywhere you have two levels of sparkling wine. We can have frizzante or spumante. Frizzante means level of CO2 not up 2.5-3 bars of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
No? Up this point, but normally you reach 4 and 5 bars of pressure, you have spumante. But the process is the same. They are different because different quantity of sugar is involved.
And these are all frizzante, correct?
Yes.
These are all frizzante, so slightly less pressure than spumante. Is that correct?
Exactly. You were talking about Martinoti. Martinoti. Yes. Well, Martinoti first of all was a Piedmont guy. No, he started this method, no, to have a sparkling wine using a particular type of tank. Were not made by concrete, but by stainless, where you can controlling the temperature, you can control the process of the fermentation. So normally you put the wine into this particular tank. You add sugar from grape in a fixed quantity, because you have to know that every 4 grams of sugar is transform sugar in 1 bar of CO2.
So it's very specific amount of pressure you want to create.
Exactly, right. It's a fixed proportion, no? So you can control the process in terms of speed, no? Controlling the temperature, because remember that the yeast are very sensible about the temperature. Normally, the yeast prefer temperature around 25-30 Celsius degree. But if you can control the temperature and stay around 18, 20 Celsius degree, the process is not so fast. It's slow.
Oh, you slow it down. So all of this is taking place in a tank, correct? The second
Exactly.
fermentation.
Exactly.
Yes, as opposed to, I'm just making it simple for all of us. And the second fermentation in champagne takes place in the bottle. So,
Exactly.
so then that's the case with Radice, which is bottle fermented, the second fermentation, correct?
Exactly. Correct. Correct. In fact, the other method, the method that we use, as you can see in this image for our Radice, is the traditional method, is an ancestral method. So this, the same fermentation that I try to describe to you with the Martinoti method, happen for the Radice happen in the bottle. The process is the same. You can control the temperature in a direct way. You can control the temperature of the room where the bottle is stored, no? But you can control directly the temperature inside the bottle. But in any case, the process is the same.
And the big difference, correct me if I'm wrong, between this, because I'm sure a lot of our guests are familiar with the champagne method, is you do not disgorge. That there is no temporary cork. It
Exactly.
re-ferments under its final cork, so there's no disgorging, there's no addition of dosage, right? And that's why Radice is so beautifully mouth-watering and dry. I just love it. It has such a sophisticated flavor, and the aroma of it, Alberto, to me is fantastic. It's a combination of like peaches and apricots and yeast and biscotti. I don't know. I just love it.
But this aromas comes out from the particular fermentation in the bottle, because as you said, we don't have the disgorgement, no. So the presence of the yeast that remain in the bottle makes this aromas makes these aromas help to.
And it's a little bit, somebody just asked a great question. So this is a reason why the Radice is slightly, it's not totally clear, correct? Because, yes.
Correct. Is turbid, no? Because of the presence of the yeast inside. It's impossible to do the disgorgement also because that is a frizzante wine, so low level of pressure. If we do a disgorgement, we have a loss of pressure, so we return quite to a still wine, no?
Oh, but no, you just educated me. I never thought about that intellectually, that if you have a low level of pressure, you intended a low level of pressure. If you disgorge, you're going to lose the little bit of pressure that you've got. So it makes sense to do it like this, as the French would say, methode ancestrale. Bravo, I love it. And tell me, what does Radice mean? What does it refer to?
Good question. Radice in Italian means root, no? And when Fabrizio, the artist, chose this name, he was thinking about two important points. First of all, that we, as you can see from the label, no, that is an abstract of the map where we live. In the label, there are two little red points that are actually the point where we live, the winery and also the house. House of the winery are distant more or less 5-6 meters, no? So we are very close to our work. And just to say that we are settled down in this part of the territory, not from yesterday, no, as a root of a tree, no, not from yesterday. We are here from a lot of years.
A long time.
Exactly. The first reason for this name is this one. And the second reason is about the method that I tried to describe it to you before. before the using the Martinoti method, all the Lambrusco were made with this method. So is our tradition, our root.
Oh, so the method ancestral is the root. Also,
Exactly.
fantastic.
That
So it has multiple meanings. I think your friend Fabrizio is not just an artist, but a philosopher too. He comes up with very good ideas. And Max, what are you thinking about in terms of food with this? What would you be cooking?
So Radice is one of my favorite wines, and I have about 450 wines that I'm selling, but this is my favorite wine for cooking. And I'm not meaning I'm using it for making sauces, but I'm actually enjoying it while cooking, tasting different things. It's very versatile. And Alberto Ally just said our side taste is sour and acidic, and that's true. It's it has a very vertical character, which is great because it fulfills a certain purpose in tasting it with food. It is not a standalone wine. This is not a wine you drink by the bar without having food. This is a wine you have with a slice of prosciutto di Parma, or a little bit of San Daniele. You need a little bit of a fatty side to it that this acidity can cut through. I think this is such an important aspect to wines from Italy in general. They're not wines that you drink on their own at the bar. They're wines that you pair with foods. And Radice is, for me, the perfect cooking wine because I can taste the sauce, the fatty sauce that I made with a little cream, a mushroom sauce, or a sauce of something else. And I can do that. If you ever, any of you gets to go to visit Alberto in his beautiful winery, they would serve gnocco fritto with prosciutto, of course, gnocco fritto with fantastic cheeses, gnocco fritto with a hint of their fantastic balsamic vinegar.
What is it? Is it deep fried?
Yeah, gnocco fritto is a deep fried kind of bread, filo dough that opens up and you fill it with all the goods that you have around and in Modena. And that's the perfect pairing as well. So to come back to your question, it is a wine that definitely needs food. It definitely needs a food with a bit of fat, because that's what the acidity really helps with. It's a wine that really opens up your palate to start eating, because the bitterness and
makes your mouth water, right?
Exactly.
Right.
And so for me, it fulfills a lot of purposes in that sense. And also the low ABV is fantastic. So you can have 2 glasses while cooking for your friends, and you don't have to worry too much about having a headache at the end of the day. Because
I'm looking at the ABV. I'm trying. Oh, here it is, 11.5. Yay. So we can have a little free for all. I'm going to interrupt because as a working sommelier too, not only will it cut through fat, but the fat will make the wine taste softer, everyone. And there's another thing. I bet sommeliers love this wine because if they serve it with foods that are equally tart, the damnedest thing will happen. It will make the wine taste softer. Don't you think so, Max? Like if you're having fish with a little lemon squeezed over it.
I agree. I agree. And the one thing that's really important to understand about Italian wine, it's not that the food makes the wine taste better or the wine makes the food taste better. It's not that they're compensating flaws. The idea about Italian wine in general is that food combined with wine gets you to that next level. So it's really a combination that gets you to that upper level of taste experience. And I think Radice is a perfect representation of that idea.
I think that's beautifully put. And I would say, getting slightly philosophical, thinking about Fabrizio, it's like Barbara and Alberto together create something else. And, something that celebrates the parts, but the sum is even greater. And I think that's what happens with food and wine in Italy is we don't, they're inextricably linked. Anyway, I just think all of you who are tasting the Radice, I encourage you. And if you don't have a bottle, run out and get one because it's spectacular to play with this with the broadest range of foods. I would say Asian too would be spectacular. You know, you have a little wasabi and ginger pickle and tons of umami. It would, you know, move over champagne. So, so while everyone's reaching for the Solco, Alberto, what are we looking at here?
Here we have is a part of our line where we fill it. It's excuse me. It's the filling machine. No, we are bottling. Well, in the you can see bottle. No, the bottle.
Yep.
They are closed with a sort of champagne cork.
Champagne corks, but some of these are actually hand tied.
Yes, this one is a photo with the ends are the ends of my mother.
No kidding. Fantastic. Oh.
Till last year, all our Radice was closed with a string in this way. No, it's a traditional way to close the bottle of Lambrusco.
So when we drink Radice, we should think of your mother. What is your mother's name?
The name is Pierina.
Pierina.
I remember when I was a little boy, all our production was in this way. There were a lot of women at the end of this sort of filling line machine that close one by one the bottle.
Max, you told me, how quickly can they do this? The ones that are practiced?
Well, there's a video of Alberto's mom, I think on YouTube even, and I think he does it in less than 30 seconds. So it's quite impressive. I've tried several times, not at Alberto's place, but there's this method of closing the cork is something that's quite present in the northeast of Italy. So you see it in Prosecco, you see it in Friuli. And I've tried many times, and I usually gave up after 8 or 9 minutes, and I've never achieved a closing one. And she does it under 30
seconds. You know, my bad. I have to start getting more videos from YouTube or from the producers and seeing if I can play them, because I haven't been doing that. But I'm already drinking the Solco because I'm a greedy person, and I love how it follows the Radice, because it fleshes out on your palate, and you just get tons of fruit, and you get weight, and you don't get so much sweetness per se as an illusion of sweetness. Can you tell us about the Solco, Alberto?
Well, Solco, I return just a moment to Radice. No?
Yes, please. No, go ahead.
Because I say to you, I don't say to you too that Radice is made only with Sorbara grape. No? For this reason, if you remember the color of Piria, the first one, it was a little bit dark than Radice. If you use only Sorbara grape, and if you don't do maturation, the color is not so strong. No, it's a sort of rosé, natural rosé.
Well, here it is, right? This is my Radice, right?
Exactly. But here you can see the difference between Piria and Radice. You can see that Radice is lighter, no? Because if you use only Sorbara grape, the color is not so high. And in particular, we don't do maturation. So, and we use only the free run juice for Radice. So the color is very pale for this reason.
When Alberto says free run, it means no skin, you know, there's very little, if any, skin contact.
Exactly.
So, right.
Exactly. We don't do
no pressing. No pressing.
That's
the important part.
Right.
And when you use only Sorbara, you can say Sorbara in purezza, no? That means a particular Sorbara made only 100% only with Sorbara grape. Actually, 20 years ago, we were the first to do this choice. All the Lambrusco were made with the presence of Salamino. 20 years ago, we started this way, and we are very proud that now this way is for us, also for other winery just around now, our winery. So we are proud of this, but actually we were the first one.
Bravo.
Thank you. Thank you.
No, it's exciting to hear this because you're educating us about things that are worth celebrating. They're very specific to your area, but they are accomplishments. And I'm sure that your friends and fellow producers look at you as a leader as a result.
No, correct. When you start a solution, no, a new way, and this way can be used also for other people, very joyful for us. And I said to you that in the vineyard we have more or less 2 plants of Sorbara and 1 plant of Salamino. Remember, Salamino is more productive than Sorbara, so normally you have 40% of production that comes from our vineyard is Salamino, and the great part of our production is Sorbara 100%. We have Radice, but we have also other labels that are Sorbara 100%. For example, like Letizia, for example, like Grosso, and so on. So we have Salamino grape, no, that we use for another label that is actually Solco. Solco is a Salamino 100%. As you can see in the image, we use only Salamino. As you were saying, is a semi-dry version, not dry as Piria and as Radice that you tasted before. We have more or less 20 residual grams.
20 grams per liter sugar, but you know, there's plenty of acidity. It doesn't come across sweet at all.
Exactly. But we have a good level of acidity, so this quantity of residual sugar is not so strong, no?
Right.
I always said that I used to say that Solco is still a gastronomic wine, no? You know that the story of Lambrusco in not only US but all over the world is could be. We can say that it's a sad story because the presence of Lambrusco in the past, but probably still now, is with a lot of sweet version, no? And for us, it's not correct because when you have a lot of sugar, you can't eat anything, no? You can't pair nothing, no?
No, I mean, you're drinking the wine and it may be delicious, but I think these wines are spectacular for the table. Also, frankly, this style of Lambrusco is a great discovery for the American palate. It's not something that we expect. And also, there's nothing else quite like it. I want you to tell us what about this label, because if you look at it closely, I just noticed there's actually a cutout. And
Exactly.
Solco means the groove, correct? Can you explain that to us?
Exactly. Solco means groove, no? But I try to explain. When you use a plow, no, in the ground, you make a solco, no, in the ground, no? Or another meaning.
A groove, right?
Another meaning of Solco could be when be the sign, no, where it could be used for the riverbed, no, when a river
for the riverbed, right?
Solco,
right.
No? And Fabrizio, think about this image, this
the different grooves, right?
No, also because if you remember the color of Piria or Radice, if some drops fall on the table, then makes no sign. But if a drop of Solco fall in the table, no, the towel makes
it makes a groove, right?
But the other reason is that, as you can see, there's my hand, no, in the label, that makes a sign.
Oh, the hand is making the sign. Yes.
Makes a sign to
Right.
represent that our is our work. No.
So your hand, your finger is making that impression, is making this wine. Yes.
Exactly.
Fantastic.
It would be very interesting next time to have Fabrizio here to explain.
Yes. Oh, well, we can listen to Fabrizio because he speak English, because otherwise we'll have to have Sophie do simultaneous translation. Yes.
We may need 4 or 5 hours for all the explanations of each label.
I have to tell you, and Max, I want to turn to you for a moment because I'm tasting this Solco and it's too delicious. And I want to tell you the food that I'm imagining, and maybe this sounds irreverent to you, but I'm thinking of like mole, something that combines like dark chocolate, and it would go great with a little bit of heat because the alcohol is modest and that little illusion of sweetness. Something complex and spicy. What are you thinking of?
Absolutely. I think you're coming from a little further south than I would come from, but this is my go-to barbecue wine. You know, we're in the summer. You know, I love doing briskets and smoked meats and with a lot of dry rubs and things like that. And I think it's so difficult to find a wine like a red wine that pairs with that. And this is a red wine that has a lot of versatility in a sense. You can chill it down. It has a lot of weight to go with it. It stands up to mole, it stands up to dry rubs, it stands up to good brisket, to baby dry ribs and things like that. And I love it for that. It's again so versatile. It's a fantastic summer wine. It's again a wine that pleases everybody that's at the table. And rather than chilling down a good Cabernet, that becomes very tannic when you chill it down. Yeah. It's a fantastic wine to chill down in the summer. I'm here in Canada right now, and it's almost 40 degrees Celsius. So
what's that? Is that over 100? I think so.
Yeah, it's 170 Fahrenheit. And you know, this is perfect. You know, you chill this wine down, you have a piece of meat, you have a good burger with a little bit more spicy rub, and it's fantastic.
I have to tell you, I always start my wine slightly too cold because I like to let them warm up in the glass. And I think the measure of Solco's quality is how wonderful it tastes, you know, half as cold as it was when I started an hour ago, because the wine bears examination. Right now, my glass is probably cellar temperature, maybe 55, maybe 50 degrees, and it's wonderful. By the way, this picture was taken by Michelle when she visited. So we wanted to, you know, cue off some discussions about food, but we've already been having them. And Max, if you've been keeping an eye on the chat room, you will have met a lovely gentleman by the name of Marshall, who reads more about wine than any of us put together. So he's been sharing some information, which is undoubtedly correct. I hope you don't mind. Marshall helps me out.
It's perfect. And I'm gonna give you a second little, can you go back one slide, Madeline?
Yes.
Second quiz, second bottle of wine, and I'm gonna raffle away tonight. That cheese south of the white cheese, if anybody
this one right here.
Yeah, exactly. The first one that name that in the chat will get the second bottle of Piria tonight.
Ooh, look at the shape. Also, look at the shape, right? Yeah. Is anyone coming up with it, or are they going to put it in the chat room?
Non dire niente, Alberto.
Don't say anything, right? You know, I have to tell you, I spent 1 year in Italy when I was 14, and I went to Marymount International School for Girls in Rome, and I spoke street Italian for 5 minutes. That was it. You know, but that was a long time ago. And I know, Alberto, you don't mind staying on a little bit longer, but while people are wondering about the cheese, can you tell us, what are we looking at here?
Here you can see the place where we make our traditional balsamic vinegar.
So this is where you make balsamico.
Yes.
Fantastic.
balsamic vinegar.
Tiny, tiny. These are very small containers.
Yes, normally they are organized in group of different barrels, starting from more or less 40 liters to 10 liters, no, in this group. And normally well, it's important to say that the start is not wine, so it's not actually a vinegar. It's a balsamic vinegar because you start from boiled moist.
Oh, from must, boiled must.
Must. In harvest time, you boil the quantity of must, you reduce in quantity, so you have also caramelization.
Concentrated must. So this is grape juice, everyone, that's been boiled and concentrated, correct?
Exactly, correct. And this slow process, very slow process, because boiling, you reduce also the population of the yeast. No? So it's very slow. You know, the minimum age is 12 years to put on the market, to use traditional balsamic vinegar.
Do we have to come visit you to buy it, or do you export it to the United States?
No, we don't export yet because the familiar production. Well, it's a big place because we have more or less 15 group of barrels, no, but it's a familiar production. It's a sort of tradition in this part of Italy when a child is born, no, if you have enough money, you buy a group of barrels or just one barrel. When this child will be ready for marriage, it's a sort of a gift for the new family.
So this is all for the family.
Well, it's all right. Yes. Yeah. If you come here, we can give you something.
A little something, yes.
Normally for the traditional balsamic vinegar, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 drops are enough.
Wait a minute.
No.
Announcement. Alberto Eli got the answer again, so he gets 2 bottles. Alberto, will you wave to us so we can congratulate you properly? There you are. Alberto is having help.
I think Google is helping him or somebody.
Google is helping. Well, you know what? God invented the internet. So here we are. We can always look things up. I have to tell you, I am thrilled tasting these wines. Go back, by the way, if you have all 3 of them or 2 of them, go back and forth and you'll see how different they are. I know that we have people with us, because I know these people that are not shy. And especially if you've had a little bit of wine to relax you. Can some of you speak up and express how you feel about these? Because they're so unique. They're so different. There's nothing like these made, well, certainly in the United States. And I'd love to hear your comments. Next question, Max, why don't you ask something? I don't know. I'm gonna let you decide.
You have a very competitive person on this. On this group. Good, right. I like it.
Does anybody want to weigh in on the styles? Mike, do you want to speak? Actually, Mike Pfeiffer, who's the wine team leader at one of our Ann Arbor stores. I don't know if you're still on with us, Mike, but he's largely, in addition to Michelle, the reason we're doing this tasting, it was his suggestion because he carries these wines in his, you're still on, I see you. So, and you're outside, excellent. And I bet Carrie's around there somewhere. But you want to talk about these a little and why they touch you, because they've been very successful at your store.
Well, our Joe DeRose, who's our rep at HD, introduced these to me probably 2 years ago now, and they were just completely different than any Lambrusco that I'd ever tasted. And I think they're fantastic with food. I actually have met Alberto when he was last in Michigan at an event.
You told me how wonderful he was before you told me how much you like the wines. That's right.
Yes. Yep. And full of information. We talked about all the wines, but I think they're fantastic food wines. I think they're different for Michigan guests. And I think they just express a different Lambrusco than than I was used to, and that a lot of my guests were used to. We've done very well with them. I think many of our guests have grown fond of them, and as Madeline, as you say, Alberto, bravo! These are fantastic wines.
Michelle, do you want to speak up about how you feel about them a little, and if you have a favorite? Actually, you should show off the bottle that you've got. You made Max jealous.
Well,
Hold on.
I would like to. I am a big fan of the Radice. So I get it in the great big bottle.
That's a Magnum, right?
Yes, I like to buy it in the great big bottle.
Is that sold in Michigan? Can we get that in Michigan?
You can't right now. It's all sold out.
Okay.
But we'll let you know if more comes in.
Okay.
I just remember visiting, and it was the end of a long day, and we pulled up and tasted with Alberto and Barbara and Giovanni, and the wines were just amazing. I mean, they kind of wake you up. It is nothing like we're used to from Lambrusco in Michigan, and they're incredibly, the length of the wines is very long, and there's a complexity to them that I just find so great, while they're still easy wines to serve with a variety of foods. So for me, I still think of my time in restaurants and what I would like to serve in restaurants, and it would have been an easy no-brainer for me to bring these wines in there.
I think so.
They're really, really well-made wines.
Great by the glass. That's what I would do. You know.
Oh God.
Oh, absolutely.
So good.
I spent.
There's a great Italian restaurant downtown, really good pizza place, Supino's in Eastern Market, that poured the Piria by the glass for the longest time before the pandemic.
Bravo, Supino's.
And it was just perfect. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, Supino's is actually, when you think of Michigan, you know, when anybody, if you go to Supino's when they start having people inside, now they're just doing delivery, you will inevitably see 2 to 5 of the tables will be industry people who are in the wine business or who are in the restaurant business, because that's how
always a good sign.
That's how good the pizza is. So bravo for that vision and for your making it accessible to them. Anyone else want to weigh in on how the wine is tasting to them? Don't be shy. I know you're not shy. You know, don't you want to win another bottle?
Well, no, we are very happy with the 2 bottles. And actually, Paltrinieri. I'm Alberto. We are originally from Italy. We moved in the US 20 years ago. So we are really enjoying your wines. And the consensus from our table is that the first one,
Piria
is really an incredible surprise for us. I mean, the third one, Solco, is really good. It's a real good Lambrusco, super solid, super traditional. But the first one is really a surprise. And of course, we don't have your experience, but I've been working years for an Italian company based in Bologna. So I have tons of Lambrusco, but the first one, Piria, is really amazing. It blows us away. So yeah, thank you. Bravo.
Thank you. And we love the background of your home. And I have to tell everyone one quick thing before people start going away, though they haven't yet, which is great, because our last tasting in August is 2 weeks from today, but it'll be on a Thursday actually. And we're back to 6:30 p.m. Eastern. This lovely gentleman is one of my very best friends in the wine business. We took the Master Sommelier exam together, and we call him the rock guy or the dirt guy because he was a geologist before he became a Master Sommelier. And he picked the theme. We're tasting 3 what I call outlier, unusual wines. And Wayne and I are just going to have too much fun talking about them. So if you go on the website, I know the registration is open and the wines might be up as well. But before we lose Alberto and Barbara, thank you for being on. I wish I spoke Italian, so I can say molto grazie. That's about it, you know.
Thank you too.
And for having your daughter there too. Is there anything else you? Oh, can we come visit you? People would want to know when we can finally fly there. Can we come visit you?
Exactly. We hope to see you here, because remember that if something, if a if you love a wine, it could be more interesting to see where this wine comes out, no? So we are very happy when people come to visit us.
So you accept American visitors. Terrific.
Oh, exactly. We're very happy to see you.
I'm going to insist on coming with Max because, you know, he speaks Italian and he'll know everything.
For the
about
record, Madeline,
Mhm.
Max is lots of fun to travel with.
Oh, good to know. I'll hold that thought. I haven't been to Italy in about 3 or 4 years now, and the last time I went was Sicily, and I've never been to Emilia Romagna, so it's time for a trip.
It's the epicenter of good food and good wine. It's absolutely
Mhm. Well, you are absolutely the most delightful people. Thank you so much. Molto grazie. And Max, you know, what you bring is a really special touch. My sweet friend Michelle, you know, you turn me on to a lot of great wines, and most especially everyone who joins us. I appreciate your company tremendously, and I'm really glad we had a little bit of an intimate group tonight. And per usual, we'll have this recording up and I'll email it to the silly people who couldn't make it, but who registered, right? So the wines will stay up on the website for at least another week, but they are in the stores as well, particularly in the Ann Arbor stores, particularly Mike Pfeiffer's store, Ann Arbor West. So you can
That's
go
right.
and yes, right, Mike? Mhm.
Yes, exactly.
So everyone, thank you for getting off work a little early today. That's why I figure Fridays are okay if we have European guests. Thank you for your company.
Thank you. Thank you to all.
Grazie mille tutti.
Grazie.
Forza Italia.
Arrivederla, yes.
Ciao, ciao Michelle.
Ci vediamo in Italia.
Ciao, thank
Ciao
you so
ragazzi,
much.
ciao ciao.
Ciao a tutti, grazie.
Alberto, mandami il tuo indirizzo per le bottiglie, eh?
Oh, the 2 bottles, right, for Team
Okay.
Alberto Eli.
We did that. Done.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to look at it later and I'm going to send them to you next week.
Yeah, and Alberto Paltrinieri will revisit you in October when we go back to Italy. Ciao.
Ciao a tutti, ciao ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao a tutti, grazie.